Hello and welcome everyone for today's Educational Monday session. Today I want to cover building meaningful connection and introduce you to some practical tips on how you correctly network and how you build strong, meaningful connections. Let's start with our PowerPoint. I hope you're using those PowerPoints to enhance your notes because that's really the purpose. So once again, welcome and thank you for being here with me today on the workshop of building meaningful connections. My name is Olga Binyaminov. I'm the owner of Exceed Learning Center, and I'm so excited to share those insights and practical tips on how to form deep, more meaningful connections and relationships. So let's get started with the objective of today. The objective is really to understand the importance of meaningful connections, and I want you to recognize the difference between superficial and meaningful connection. I'll give you some insights on that. Learn key practical key principles of building connections, which is mastering the foundation of active listening, empathy, authenticity, and reciprocity. Understanding how these principles foster a stronger, more genuine connection. We'll talk about developing practical networking strategy and how you gain practical tips on effective networking for online and offline. Overcoming barriers, common barriers of connection, identifying and addressing common obstacles that are forming those connections, and some strategies that will alleviate your shyness and fear of rejection. And lastly, creating personal actionable plan. Set specific, achievable goals for building new connections. Develop a step-by-step plan that implements what you've learned in your daily lives. So first, let's differentiate the difference and let's define what a meaningful connection is. What does it mean by having a meaningful connection? A meaningful connection involves genuine emotional engagement and trust. It provides emotional support and mutual respect, and I'll expand on that later on. It often is a long-lasting and resilient through challenges. Meaningful connections remain strong even if there is an obstacle or a challenge comes your way. It's based on honesty and vulnerability, where individuals can be their true self, and encourages personal and mutual growth, enriching both parties. I want you to understand that meaningful connection is not like superficial connection. A meaningful connection means much deeper connection, more genuine, provides emotional support, provides trust, mutual respect. And these are the conditions that enhance your personal and professional lives, which I will explain how as well. But before we do that, let's define the superficial connection. So a superficial connection is primarily based on external factors such as appearance or social status. So people that are connecting with you just because you are influential, just because you know people, not really genuinely connecting with you, but really kind of a social status that's important. I can give an example from my personal life. When I was married, I had a set of friends, and as soon as I got divorced, one pair just branched out from friendship because my social status changed. So that is just right away telling you that that was a superficial connection, because true friends and those that I have meaningful, a deep connection with, I'm still friends with, regardless of my social status. The superficial connection provides minimal emotional support or genuine care. So if you have someone that you're not sure if it's superficial connection or a stronger, meaningful connection, challenge it with requests of emotional support. If those people are there for you when you need that support, that is a much more meaningful connection. Superficial connection will break off as soon as you need some emotional support. Superficial connection is often very short, so we meet a lot of people over our lifetimes. Some branch out, some, separate. You stop talking to certain people, you connect more deeper with others. There is a reason why certain people come to our lives and branch off. So just take it as a challenge, as everybody had a purpose in your life and they left, but those that are meaningful connection stay with you over a long, long period of time. A superficial connection may involve pretending or presenting an inauthentic version of oneself, when they pretend to be your friends, but as soon as there's something that you need, they're no longer there. Or they pretend to care about your business, but when your business is struggling, they are not there. So all of these are superficial connections, and they offer little to no personal growth or deep mutual benefit. So one thing I noticed as an educator and as a very educated person, I'm not looking necessarily for someone who's also educated. A person doesn't have to be educated in order to acquire or want to learn in personal growth. Personal growth is something you do for yourself, regardless of what your education is. So someone with a meaningful connection will have we always use that phrase, like-minded people. Like-minded people are people that have the same will, the same thinking, the same personal growth driven ideas. So education, it doesn't matter whether someone is educated or not. What matters is their connectivity or connection because of mutual benefit of learning. They want to learn, they want to enrich themselves. They have growth mindset versus scarcity mindset. So when your meaningful connections are connected through personal growth, is because of growth mindset. You both want to enhance that learning. Now, how do you benefit from meaningful connection? Like, why is it important to have meaningful connections in your life? There are two important aspects. One is personal life, the other is professional life. I'm going to cover both of them. So personal life, first of all, it provides emotional support. Meaningful connections provide a strong support system during times of need. This helps you manage stress and enhance your overall well-being. Like I mentioned before, those that are not meaningful connection, in other words, for superficial connections, they're not going to be there for you when you need that emotional support. Increasing happiness. It is proven that these connections, these strong, meaningful connections, foster a sense of belonging and reduce feelings of loneliness. So that signifies contribution to your overall happiness. When you have meaningful connections through honest feedback and shared experiences, meaningful connections and meaningful relationship encourage self-reflection and personal growth. Very important for personal life. It also enhances health benefit. Positive relationships are linked to better mental and physical health, including lower rates of anxiety and depression. And of course, resilience. When you have that great network of trusted individuals that offer assistance and encourage during challenging times, it makes you so much more resilient. In professional life, it also helps in many different aspects. So first of all, career advancement. Meaningful connections can open doors to new opportunities. When you network and when you meet the right people of meaningful connection, they can provide you opportunities of mentorship, valuable career advice. Collaboration. These relationships enhance teamwork, collaboration, which leads to more innovative and successful projects. When you expand your professional network, that can lead to job referrals, partnership, various business opportunities, skill development. Meaningful connections provide opportunities to learn new skills and gain different perspective. When you're learning from like-minded people, you can that can be incredibly valuable to learn some other skill. And of course, job satisfaction. Having supportive connection and relationship at work increases job satisfaction and engagement, which makes your work environment so much more enjoyable. So nurturing those meaningful connections are very important because they enrich both your professional and personal life, and it creates fulfilling and supportive network that benefits you in so many different ways. So let's talk about the key principles. There are 4 key principles for building meaningful connections. It's so essential to understand and practice these key principles. And I want to talk about each one of them, but briefly, active listening, empathy, authenticity, and reciprocity are the 4 major key principles that I will be covering in the next section. So active listening. Active listening, by definition, is the process of fully focusing on the speaker, understanding their message, responding thoughtfully and remembering what was said. It's more than just hearing the words. It's about engaging with the speaker and showing genuine interest in what they are saying. So why is it important to be active listener? When you are an active listener, you're building trust. The speaker feels valuable and understood, which builds trust in relationship. It enhances communication and reduces misunderstandings that ensures that both parties are actually on the same page. Now, active listening doesn't mean that you agree with the person. You are okay to disagree with them. And I always say it's okay to let's agree to disagree. That's okay to disagree. You don't have to really agree, but by active listening and acknowledging that you're hearing what they're saying and you're ensuring that you both are on the same page, like you're understanding what one is presenting to the other. It also fosters respect. It shows that you respect the speaker, you respect their thoughts, you respect their opinion, and when you do that, you make them more likely to respect your opinion in return. Once again, doesn't matter if you disagree. You can just respect their opinion without disagreeing to it. It strengthens connections because when you truly listen, you create a deeper emotional connection. You're making the relationship more meaningful and supportive. You encourage openness because when people feel that they are heard, they are more likely to open up and to share, which leads to more honest, authentic interaction. How can you do that? How can you do active listening? Well, when you speak with someone, maintain eye contact, nod to show that you're engaged, and avoid interruption of the speaker, like when the speaker speaks, wait until they finish. These are the small actions that can make a big difference in showing that person that you're actively listening. One of the most respectful thing you can do and show that you're not actively listening is to reach to your phone when a person is speaking to you and responding to a message. And I know that when that happens to me and someone I'm speaking with reaches to their phone, I just stop talking and waiting until I get their attention back, because that shows that whatever you're saying is not important to them. And it right away dismisses you and dismisses anything you want to say, and you're pretty much losing the interest of discussing with that person. So yes, we do have important things, and what if that message was very important and you had to reach out to, that's fine. Just apologize and say, I'm sorry, just 1 second, let me respond to this text, rather than just kind of nodding but looking at your phone instead of actually participating in the conversation. So active listening can build a very strong, meaningful connection that are based on mutual trust and mutual respect. Another principle is empathy, and we talked about empathy before on many different occasions. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of the other person. It involves putting yourself in someone else's shoes and experiences their emotions as if they were your own. Empathy goes beyond sympathy, which is merely feeling of pity or sorrow for someone else's misfortune. It requires a deeper emotional engagement. So in other words, empathy is basically you understanding the other person's feeling. It doesn't mean that you agree with them, right? If somebody says that you hurt their feelings, it doesn't mean that you agree that you actually did it intentionally, but they are presenting to you what they are feeling. Or if they're telling you a story of something that happens and they feel a certain way, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. Empathy is just understanding and showing understanding. Why is that important to do? Well, again, by understanding and sharing the emotions of the other person, you create a stronger emotional bond, which leads to a more meaningful relationship. It builds trust. When people feel understood and validated, they are more likely to trust you, as empathy demonstrates that you genuinely care about their feelings. It enhances communication. Empathy improves your ability to communicate effectively by allowing you to respond in a way that you support and considerate of the other person's emotion. It promotes well-being because you're showing empathy and you can reduce feelings of isolations and loneliness. you improve the overall emotions of well-being for both, not just for the person you're listening to, but also for your own self. So it's for the giver and the receiver. And it facilitates a conflict resolution. Empathy helps in understanding different perspectives, which can be instrumental in involving conflicts and finding common grounds. Like just saying something like, I'm sorry you feel this way, shows empathy. So, but not in a sarcastic way, right? So showing empathy by active listening, very important that you show that you've listened and you understand. And by doing paraphrasing of what the other person says, confirms that you understand and validating their feeling. So something like, I understand how you feel, or that sounds like a challenge, or that sounds like you've been through a lot. All of that are statements of empathy. And it goes a long way to show that, because now you're showing that you are authentic, and it builds an authentic connection that characterized by mutual understanding and mutual emotional support. It actually becomes a team. Authenticity, by definition, it means being genuine and true to yourself in your connections. So when you are true to yourself, it means that you're expressing your true thoughts, your feelings, your values, rather than just presenting like a confirmation of others' expectation, or trying to show someone that you're doing something. So authenticity require honesty and self-awareness, allowing you to engage in relationship with integrity. Authenticity is really vital for building meaningful connections, because being authentic fosters trust. Others can rely on you because they know you're honest and genuine in your interactions. It enhances relationships because authentic interactions lead to deeper and more meaningful relationships, because they're based on real shared values and feelings. It encourages open communication. When you are authentic, you encourage others to be themselves as well, leading to a more honest and transparent conversation. You will attract like-minded people because it helps you to connect with people who have similar values and interests, and creating more fulfilling, supportive relationship. You promote personal satisfaction. Being true to yourself leads to a greater personal satisfaction and reduces that stress of maintaining a false image. If you're trying to look like someone that cares about others, trying isn't good enough, because soon enough you will stop trying. But when you really authentically care about the other person, and you know that something happened, and you would authentically remember and ask them about that event, that truly shows authenticity. So be genuine in your interactions by expressing your thoughts, your true thoughts, not just what you're thinking, but what you're really thinking, not color coding it or sugar coating it, as they say, just to kind of look good, right? Just really show your true colors, show your true intentions. Avoid trying to fit in or say something just to meet other people's expectations. Authenticity shines through when you are comfortable with who you are and honest about your intentions. So again, this way you don't have to keep up with it. This is who you are, right? So ideally you work on yourself to create a much stronger and genuine connection, and that builds trust and mutual respect as well. Reciprocity is a mutual exchange of favor and support. In relationship, it means that you're giving and you're receiving help or support, right? So that's like a balanced matter. Reciprocity involves both offering assistance to other, but also being open to receive. That creates a two-way dynamic. And why is it so important? Well, first of all, because it fosters mutual support. It creates a balanced relationship where both parties contribute to and benefit from the connection. That leads to a stronger bond. When you encourage reciprocity action or reciprocal actions, you encourage cooperation and collaboration, which makes interactions more effective and rewarding. You build trust, because when people see that you're willing to give as well as receive, it builds trust and demonstrates that the relationship is not one-sided. It strengthened relationship by reinforcing the connection and showing that both parties are involved in supporting each other. That again, strengthen a relationship. And it encourages positive interactions. When you engage in that reciprocal behavior, you promote a positive and supportive environment, making the interaction more enjoyable and productive. So how do you do that? How do you practice reciprocity? Offer help and support willingly to others. Open to accepting the help when it's offered. Look for opportunities to contribute to others that are in need of knowledge and the support that they need. There's a book I just recently read. It's called Be a Go-Giver. When you give, don't give with the intention of receiving something back. Give it with the intention of giving it. Like whether it's knowledge, you don't always have to get paid for whatever people are telling you. I'm providing those workshops for you for free in this long will of learning. I hope you want to learn, and I'm giving that to you because I want you to learn. I'm not expecting any of you to return anything back. But when you do that truthfully, then that will generate those two-way dynamics. And one day, somehow, these connections will reciprocate. So how do we network? Practical strategies for a network. I only focused on 4 on those slides, but I will give you some more. Networking is very important. There's one sentence I just recently heard. Your network is your net worth. And as you think about this, the more people you know, the more meaningful connections you have, the more business you can get, right? Because people want to work with people they like. People want to interact and give business to other individuals that truly care, that were listening to them when they were talking, that were willing to help when they needed to help. Right? You're going to give your business to someone you already dealt with whatever that conversation was. So let's see how we strategize for that. So the first one is setting clear goals. And how do we set clear goals? If you go back to the YouTube channel, to my YouTube channel, I do have a lesson on setting SMART goals. So there is a goal to everything, and that is for any topic, whether it's networking, working, job opportunities, anything you'll do. So it's crucial to know why you are networking. It's important that you're that you know what are you doing. Are you looking for a mentor? Or are you looking for job opportunities? Or to stay updated on your industry? What is it that you want? Define your target audience. Always know what is your target audience? What is your goal of streaming those network efforts? Like, why would you go to that event? What's in there that you are going to gain or able to give, willing to give? Every time you go for a network event or a network group, you need to have a pitch. An elevated pitch is a very brief, engaging introduction that highlights who you are, what you do, and what you are looking for. Okay, so someone very smart I'm working with have told me that when you have a pitch, it should always include your past, your present, and your future. So who you are, pretty much your past, what you do is your present, and what are you looking for? What's your ideal client? That's one way of thinking about your pitch. Tailor your message and adjust your pitch based on content and the person that you're speaking to. So I don't know if I mentioned, but I am part of this huge, big group, networking group that we meet weekly, and you need to adjust your pitch. Unfortunately, we don't have much time. We don't have like a minute or 2 minutes to talk. It's very brief, 10, 15 seconds, but you have to be able to present who you are, what's your business, and what is it that you're doing. So doing that and practicing this will really enhance your connections. There are many online platforms that you can utilize. I know Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, there's so many of them. But if you're looking for a professional platform, LinkedIn is a very good comprehensive platform, which you can have different groups in there and participate in different discussions. So a LinkedIn profile will give you a much bigger network, professional network. There's another one I just recently discovered that was Alignable. I haven't worked much on it, but Alignable is another professional network, online platform for network. So professional forums, they engage the industry specific forums, so online communities. There's so many different events based on your profession. And those are the different events that you want to utilize. Attending events, there are industry events, workshops, seminars. These are great opportunities to meet new people and extend your network. When you meet up in a social event, so once again, in my group, in my network group, we have social events, and unfortunately, attendance is approximately 20 to 30%. People don't usually engage in those social events, but most of the business happen at those social events. That's when you get to know someone because you have more in-person interaction. That's when you really have this ability of talking to an individual that you maybe not having this opportunity at a different event. Recently, I had a situation where someone that I know very well, my neighbor that I always communicate with, was able to help me in the situation that I needed, because it's not what you know, it's who you know, those people that have those meaningful connection. And when I speak to them and when I communicate with them, I don't have that intention of using them for something, right? I'm not using people. I'm utilizing this network that I have around me. And when you change that mindset and when you start truly be willing to give to others more than you're receiving, that's when life changes and your network extends. So, I said that you meet those people. It's important that you follow up. Send a follow-up email or a message within 24 to 48 hours from meeting someone. In that follow-up, you want to mention something specific that you spoke about or something that, highlights your conversation. You can also remind them who you are and show genuine interest. That's how you connect to people. You don't just meet with a person and they automatically become your network. You got to engage in those relationships. Meet those people again occasionally. I had an event last month where I met a couple of new people. We right away scheduled another meeting where we just went for dinner, spoke, kind of connected a little bit closer. I have another friend I'm meeting next week, and I haven't seen her probably in 3 months. Frequently speaking to her. She's a business friend. I used to tutor her kids, but we continued those connections and just meeting once in a while. You don't have to engage in every week or talk hours on the phone. Just a once in a while text message. Show people you care. Okay, and it's very important. Like I said, your network is your net worth. And I'll give you another sentence I learned. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If you know someone is going through something, shoot them a text. If you know it's someone's birthday, don't just put it on their profile. Send them a message, a private message. Call them. I know we don't have time. We're all busy. Send them a text message. It shows a little bit more personalized connection. So when you have that personalized connection, you are showing others that you genuinely care. Provide useful information, resources. If you know something, and let's say you have a like-minded person that loves a certain topic you're studying and you're going for that event, send a message to that person. I'm going to this event in November, Tony Robbins, and just yesterday, someone I know and I met at one other event texted me, "Oh, I hope I'm going to see you at that event." We did not speak for a whole year, but just that reassurance, just that message keeps that awareness of, hey, I remember you, or I do want to connect with you. It doesn't have to be an hour-long conversation or a whole paragraph of text message. just something very small to show connections. It helps maintain relationships. Stay in touch with your contacts periodically. It could be email, it could be a call, it could be a social media, it could be just, congratulating them on their achievement and their milestone. Just send them a message that you listen to their podcast. And, just be authentic. Don't do something that you don't actually mean. Show real interest in other people. If you said that you listened to their podcast, highlight what you liked and say that, hey, I watched whatever story you sent me. I was touched by XYZ. Just really be authentic. Authentic conversation, focus on quality interactions, and not really quantity. Okay, it's not how often you talk, it's how meaningful your conversations are. Join a professional organization. I can't stress enough how important that is to communicate and network. Like I mentioned before, I'm part of a big network group. And if you are a business owner, or even if you work for someone that you want to get a little bit more business, reach out to me. I will help you. I'll get you into that network, and that would open some opportunities for you to grow, resources. Take volunteer jobs when you can. Volunteer in leadership positions. I am a board member in our group, in our network group, and I love this. Yes, it's a lot of responsibility. I work extra hours. Nobody pays me for this, but I like that because I show people that I care. I bring that value of knowledge that I have into my network. And yes, that brings awareness of who you are. That brings appreciation when people know that you are genuine and you're doing that work and you're doing it great. You're protecting whatever you have to protect. It's visibility, builds your relationship. It really does bring authentic connections. Alumni, if you are a graduate of a high school, a college, that's another event you can attend. You can attend those reunions, engage in some PTA activities. I volunteer in my kids' PTA. I don't always have time to do it full force, but when I can, I volunteer. And that helps because guess what? It brings awareness to who you are. People know. People hear of you, they see you volunteer. So although I do not expect things in return, I do it just because, but things come back to you. They come back to you full force without you actually wanting this. When you give, you'll get. And that goes back to the book, Go Giver. I'll see, maybe I'll provide a book review for that for next week. So these strategies really help build your network and follow up, be authentic, join professional organization. All of that will leverage your network. And I know that some of you may be shy or don't know how to start. These are some barriers that we'll have when we join. Time constraint. I know when I invite to my network group, mine, it starts at 7 a.m. There are a million excuses people give. It's too early, it's too far. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can make it. When there is a will, there is a way. In life, you can either make excuses or you can make it happen. I can make it, and so can you. It doesn't mean that I have better resources. It doesn't mean that I have a faster car or it's closer. I actually drive half hour away to my network, and that's okay. If you want to do something and you want to make a meaningful connection, you got to give something. And that is one, time. You got to give your time to get something. So that would be overcoming that barrier. People that are afraid of speaking, you will continue to afraid if you don't practice. How else can you practice? Only by doing it. So yes, some of us are shy, but when you meet those people on constant basis, you overcome that shyness and you build confidence. You also have, some of you may have fear of rejection. Fear of rejection, you can only overcome by doing those things, by going. And no big deal if you made a mistake. No big deal if you said the wrong thing. It's not a big deal. You just practice that communication. I heard it today and I hope I can quote it correctly. There are only two, how did he say that? Today I was listening to Jim Quick, who is my personal favorite brain coach. And he said that there's only one place you don't want to be, and that's your comfort zone, because it's the best place to be when you are in a comfort zone, but it's also the worst place to be because when you are in a comfort zone, you're not working for a better place. You're not doing things that enhance. So avoid that comfort zone. That's okay. Get out of your shell. Do things, take the uncomfortable action. And when you do that, you just build that resilience, you build that connection, help yourself achieve a new step, take an action to achieve a new step. And once again, I extend my invitation. If any of you would like to network or looking for network opportunity, I go to a lot of different events. That network group is one group. I'm also part of Chambers Commerce, a Chamber of Commerce. If I see an event in my community, I would go. Whatever it is that you can participate. I know it's hard to catch up with everything. We do have busy lifestyles, but at least getting yourself out there increases your social interaction, increases your network, and definitely improves your meaningful connections as opposed to spending time, or I would say wasting time for connections that are not meaningful and not helping you in progressing your life. So I truly grateful for you joining me today, and I hope that this workshop will give you a lot of insight. If you have any further questions or you would like to stay connected, feel free to reach out. And just remember, starting isn't easy, but do it messy, do it scared, do it imperfect, but do it anyway. And until our educational journey crosses again, always remember that learning is a gate to a bright future. It was my greatest pleasure hosting this today. Looking forward to see you again next week. I will continue that topic of networking and maybe a few books that I will summarize for you guys. Please let me know how you feel about this workshop until our educational journey crosses again. Always remember that learning is a gateway to a bright future. Have a great week, everyone.